Good morning, soon to be good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert T. Green. I'm the CEO of Pre-Post Game. I'm also known as a player's rep here to educate and empower, protect the athlete and family's best interests alone. Today is Tuesday, June the 5th. Welcome to the African American Athlete Pre-Post Game podcast, sponsored by the African American Athlete, presented by Pre-Post Game. Doing this live today, approximately 12 noon, because of two things. This is a fact check edition, but secondarily speaking, we're talking the Philadelphia Eagles and the NCAA/university cut down to 85. How is all one and the same? Reason why I do this podcast and these action videos is for a couple reasons. As a player's rep, we're talking about the NFL and the actual athletes that actually play. First and foremost, I want to let everybody know, athletes, players, they are human beings first. They're men, particularly in the National Football League. So once we get that out the way, we can start to really have a professional conversation. So when you say terms such as the player versus the owner, you're actually devaluing these actual young men and actually what they bring to the table, not only from the football standpoint, but from actually the economy. Because once again, the games that are being played, if you don't realize it, there are cameramen, sports reporters, journalists, myself, companies such as mine, that without the actual athlete, it would cease to exist and be in business. So all of our business is generated because of them and only them, not because of the owner, not because of the person that currently sits in the Oval Office or anything else other that nature. So once we can start to respect the fact that what is, then we can move forward from there. I try not to actually speak too much about my personal life, but in this case I want to talk about my actual father was a paratrooper, meaning he was in elite forces. He would jump out of airplanes back when and basically go to war for the United States of America under the flag, 392 unit. He's no longer here, but once again, my father taught me about basically having a free mind, a free will, and free thought. And so once again, we talk about what's going on. The fact check edition. One, Colin Kaepernick, the Philadelphia Eagles, in particular when it came to taking a knee. Nate Boyer, a former NFL player who's also a veteran of the Army, asked Mr. Kaepernick to take a knee instead of sitting down. So again, we talk about compromise and what Mr. Kaepernick did, that so many people want to say that he did something wrong and he did things that he shouldn't do, how he disrespecting the flag. What has yet to be said through the NFL, what has yet to be said by anybody outside of it, is that, you know, when you talk about terms such as social injustice, it's not a black thing, actually. It's not even a white thing. It's an economic, social thing. Meaning, again, at the end of the day, what the players take a knee for was police brutality. I've spoken at several police functions. I have several police friends. I have several military friends. I've also have the ability to be able to connect with those at every level. And we talk about in the mental health field, meet them where they are. So it doesn't matter if I'm in a suit and tie right now. I can go back to the hood right now and have a conversation in the community, and I feel okay with that. Everybody that cannot do that, but everybody's not willing to also understand what that community goes through. So when you talk about police brutality or people that are unarmed getting killed unrightfully, and if you can watch a video and watch this man get shot in the head and killed and justify his killing and say because someone was wearing a uniform, that's the main issue. That's the problem right there. Because again, you don't have value that person's life because his economic status has not gotten to the point where you literally can hurt him. And if you really want to talk about things, why, again, there are people out there, there are good cops, there are bad cops. First, we got to talk about that. Secondarily speaking, when I talk about the Eagles and the NCAA cut down to 85, but one and the same, because there are horrible coaches out there. But there are also people that look like me that I wouldn't have your kids get within 2,000 feet from. But yet you have them there every day, sending them to skills and drills camps and things of that nature. So it all goes back to these young African-American men that are millionaires, but they also, a lot of them are under 30 years old. And so when someone in their actual 60s or 70s going to attack them for who they are and not have the actual facts, once again, no Eagle took a knee. So once again, what you understand is the saying and disrespecting the flag. People who do not want to actually face the reality or want to deal with false truths really show who they are. But the most important piece that I want to share with you in this video is that no man, no woman should be able to basically devalue you based off their words. The thing about social media in 2018, Twitter, anything else, half the things that people are willing to say on camera wouldn't say it to your face if you paid them to do it. Again, I'm an African-American male, a former high school, collegiate, professional athlete. Do I look like the type of person that you want to come to at Starbucks and tell me to get out my seat? If you think that to be the case, you got me extremely mistaken. Who you are as a person how you exude confidence and character in who you are, how you speak, how you articulate, how you deal with people who aren't as qualified or ignorant to what the reality is. You have to learn to deal with them a certain way. And the reality is you don't want to get into a back and forth tit for tat because they have nothing to lose. So again, I'm not even mentioning that person's name because once again, you know, there are 45 presidents. There was 44, 43, 42, 41. But regardless of what they do day to day, I was still responsible for getting up, putting myself in the best situation possible. I am not going to look to the left or the right based off color, based off creed, based off a name or a title such as coach, teacher, friend, whatever they wanted to portray themselves to be that day to help me get to where I want to be. So again, the Philadelphia Eagles uninvited to the White House, and that's the topic. But the fact of the matter is, the majority of the Eagles was not going to go to the White House anyway. So regardless of what is being said, once again, you got to say it. Police brutality, not social injustice. You have to address the cause and the problem. This goes back to when I talk about the NCAA rules. You can't move forward unless you know exactly what you're addressing. So if you allow people to continue to put this thing out to be what it is, the argument continues to rage. No different than LeBron versus Kobe or Jordan. You have to face the facts. The facts of the matter is, no Eagle took a knee. So at the end of the day, giving credence to what someone said, once again, you already giving them more power than they should have in the first place. I will not give that man that power. I want to implore these young athletes, these young millionaires who are basically giving the voice to the voice, continue to basically represent themselves with class and with dignity. At the same time, again, my father was in the military. He fought for this. He fought for this country. He came home and he worked. He died by himself, unfortunately. When I say that, it's because at the end of the day, when he came home, he didn't have anybody say and salute you and thank you for what you are. When he walked down back to the same hood he came from when I grew up, nobody was sitting there and said thank you for your service. I say that to him. I say that to those that also serve. But at the same time, by no means are you going to devalue someone else's life, because at the end of the day, you may have served and put your life on the line, but when you live in a certain area in this world where you can walk down your own street and you got to survive that like you are in another country at war, for those that went out there and served, you to have that exact same freedom, but only for you to say that, you know what, you don't deserve to have freedom at this point, because again, even though we went to war and fight for this, because you look a certain way, a certain color, you don't have any say. So the whole NFL anthem rule, where you find that you have an actual company in business with 32 men made a decision without the input of 1,900 other men. That's the problem. Sports is not a game. Sports is all business. You, 32 owners in your 50s, 60s, 70s, based on how we got to where we are today, making decisions without those 1,900 men. Well, without them, you would not be billionaires in the world of sports without those actual players. For those that continue to critique these players through social media, through the media, through the actual radio waves, those that have the titles such as sports journalists, Sirius XM Radio, ESPN, NFL Network, when you feel comfortable, again, as you say, to feel like, you know what, I don't agree with the players. You have the right to say that. The same way the players have the right to say, I don't want to do this. However, remind you, if it wasn't for those players that you're covering, you wouldn't have a job right now. But once again, I'm talking about, 21 to 25 to 30-year-old men that making millions all of a sudden. Which leads me to my most important point right now. These young men and how this all started, do anybody realize that college football still exists too? And these same young men who got to this point without having their voices heard starts way back in the beginning. Now, have I already started this video not talking about naming names because the names are irrelevant? It's the people that are actually being served that's important to me. So there was a camp, Midwest camp, and it was one of the coaches that actually said, what's the biggest message you wanted to share with these kids? And again, 90% African-American, seems to be in the thousands. 5 or 6 Caucasian coaches, a couple of African-American coaches. But one of these coaches in particular happened to say, the most important thing is do what your coach tells you to do and do it the best you can. For those who don't know, there was a coach back in the day named Jerry Sandusky at Penn State. This is a lot more about the mental warfare of what's what, and talking about things that, how we've gotten to this point in this country, when you're talking about not having free mind and free will. I shared this with people a long time ago. The NFL wasn't so upset about Colin Kaepernick and not even taking a knee, because he didn't take a knee at first. They were upset because he's a quarterback, and how this thing was set up was the quarterback is supposed to direct the other 99% of the players to do what the actual league and team wants them to do. And because Kaepernick did not do that, and he basically expressed himself freely. Now again, what he said about police as a whole and generalized is wrong. I said that. See how that works? What he said as a whole is wrong generally. But you know who else hasn't said anything? The same police who basically have bad cops. They haven't addressed them. You know who hasn't addressed the bad coaches? The same good coaches that in the same scenario. You know who really hasn't said anything? As all these things continue to happen in this actual society, where are the agents right now? Where are the general managers? Where are all these so-called trainers right now that have these players' best interests in mind? Why are they so silent on everything? Explain that to me. Because these players are writing checks to them to protect them, to educate them, to empower them. Speaking of which, if anything in this video educate, empower, protect you, please like and share this video. You can also follow me at the Players Rep 1 on Twitter, the Players Rep 1 on Instagram, but also the Players Rep on Facebook. As I continue to speak as a person that is a African-American male, a former athlete, a business owner, someone that owns a home, I understand what it means to actually conduct myself in a certain way. But once again, am I a son of a bitch? No way, no how. But does it matter that he said that about me? No, because he don't get that from me. He don't pay my bills. He don't help me he don't make me feel like who I am as a man. And once again, that's the biggest thing. So when athletes in particular continue to be told to listen to do what your coach says, because at the end of the day, what you don't realize is that those actual athletes are the reason why these coaches get paid. But parents are quick to give homage or give all type of power to people who are there to use your kids to make a living, to send their kids to private school. Everybody right now graduating, this happened, everybody's celebrating. What you don't know about the 85, get under 85. In college, you have to have 85 scholarships before a certain time of the year. So once again, if you go into the spring or winter session, there's a lot of kids being recruited, transferring, all those things going on from there. So you might recruit a kid and basically know you already at 85, but you basically going to bring an 89. There's about 4 to 5 kids that you're going to get rid of. And they have no idea. Their parents don't have any idea. The kid don't have any idea. Same time, what is he going to do? Kid might have failed the drug test. Kid goes home. You didn't address it. So the kid comes back. You test him randomly. You know what's going to happen. He fails the drug test. Now you kick him out of school. You tell the world, like, you know what? He wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. Did you ever try to get that kid help when he was smoking weed before he even got to your school in the first place? And that coach actually knew that. But that coach is also rewarded with an actual check because that kid came with a star, a 4 or a 5 star. But now it's not about free education anymore. You can kick this kid out, move on to the next, and now it's all the same thing all over again. Who's holding them accountable besides myself? As many of you watching this video right now have no idea how this actually goes. There's a lot of kids right now that was basically going to be leaving school as of last spring, but nobody knew it. Why? Because their coaches told them don't say anything or else. So once again, you now have a society based of kids where literally all they do is go and make sure that your kids keep their mouths shut in order to continue to put food on their table, to build their recruiting class, and then turn around when they get gone, you want to tell the kid he wasn't a team player. Use that word team again. He wasn't committed to the program. Sports is not a game. Sports is all business. If you want to actually see change in this world, and again, it's not about a color thing like I tell everybody. It's about economics. There's a lot of minorities that get killed. There's a lot of poor white people that get killed by police. But there's also a lot of great police out there. There's a lot of great military service out there. But it's people that actually became police officers that went to the military in order to do things to people that they couldn't do without the law backing them. You must admit and understand that too. If you don't, then I'm not talking to you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I say to you. You are there anyway. You're part of the problem, hiding behind Twitter and every other type of law that's set up to basically, take away the voice of the voiceless. So once again, I implore and I applaud these African-American rich millionaires, these entertainers, if you will. Because that's, once again, these young men have been, if you want to talk about farmed, since the time that they can jump, throw, run, kick, and roll. So whether they black or white, and as I said again, there are people look like me that I wouldn't have your kid 10,000 feet near. You need to learn how to audit, vet, and monitor the people that you put your kids around. So when this man says what he says, you got to understand, has nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. When the NFL anthem came out, has nothing to do with the actual policy. Has everything to do with controlling free thought. Your thoughts matter. Because when your thoughts are actual to grow and move forward, you can actually make change. You can grow. But if your thoughts are stifled based off of fear, or basically kept away from doing things that you were meant to do, then that's going to be what it is. Again, like I said, coaches, agents, GMs, where are they right now? Why is it that these young African American men have to defend themselves against someone who's making accusations about them that have not be true? Did any of them did not go to the military? Did any of them dodge the military? Did any of them say to a former military vet, he's not a hero? I like winners? Did any of those players do that? So once again, this is a fact check period. Everything I say, and I'm very, very conscientious about my actual brand, my actual platform. And as the player's rep, when I know I'm educating, empower, protect the athlete, and family's best interests alone, I go very, very hard and not to basically use my opinion on what my platform gives. Because my opinion does not matter. So when I know my opinion doesn't matter, guess whose else opinions does not matter when it comes to your life, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to see it go. Once again, you got to talk the truth. Social injustice, what does that mean? Speak life into it. If you're an agent, what does that mean? Clarify. You help my contract, you do marketing, you do advertising, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Speak it to an existence. I can hold you accountable for what you do. You continue to be vague and you want to talk about what's what. In society, 87%, and it's been proven, 87% people want to be followers, where only 13% really want to be directors. Meaning if you hit the lotto tomorrow for $10 million, 87% of you are going to want to find somebody to help you to manage your money regardless. Instead of you taking the opportunity to take the education that's out there, and so you can learn what a stocks and a mutual fund is. You want somebody else to do it for you. Can't blame someone in the White House for that. When you got your kid going to a school because the coach came, sat in your living room and told you that he loved your kid and your family, why don't you call some of those families right now that the schools just threw away like yesterday's trash? Because the media is not going to cover that. I'm telling you right now. Do you understand? It's like in the NFL draft when I talk about quarterbacks, quarterback-driven league. It's impossible to be a quarterback-driven league when out of the last 20 years, only 13 quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl. 5 out of 11 that won were the same team. Eli Manning won twice. Tom Brady won 5 times. Ben Roethlisberger won twice as well. So when you have a pay scale, you say you're paying quarterbacks, they haven't produced. But yet because somebody said it, you fall in line and do the same exact thing. This is supposed to be a democracy under the flag that my father fought for. That he jumped out of a plane with a parachute in the 60s to do. He is the reason why I speak the way I speak. No man, no woman, no color, no creed is going to define who I am. Even if you tried, you couldn't do it. Because my mind is too strong. But if I woke up today letting somebody tell me how I'm supposed to view myself, then I'm already lost. But you got to understand, when it comes to this business of sport, when your kids get out of school the next couple of days and summer school start, you're talking about paying $225 for some skills and drills, but yet the actual program or the actual area you go to when it comes to the schools, but he don't know what college courses that he need. How are you really helping him or her? You're not. Again, this is the fact check edition. If anybody has a problem with what I'm saying, it's because they don't want to understand or know the truth. Nothing I've said in the video is of my own opinion. I work in this business. I experience this. I deal with this daily. I do this video. Sometimes I fight with my own self. But I do it because at the end of the day, I hope that this actual video can help somebody recognize that you are more than what someone else say you are. In media, in society, through social media, it doesn't matter. You have one life. It's yours. Let no one devalue you because based off of what the ideal says to be what it is. Quarterback driven league. 20 years. So again, if you do the math, 13 times 32, or 32 times 20 is 640. All the smartest people in the world in the NFL, agents and GMs and scouts and owners, had 640 opportunities. This is all about winning, as they say, to get it right. And they only got it right 13 times. Sports is not a game. Sports is all business. Recap, my name is Robert T. Green. I'm the CEO of Pre-Post Game. I'm also known as the players rep here to educate and empower, protect the athlete's best interests alone. Today is June the 5th, 2018 on African American Athlete Pre-Post Games podcast. Check out Mr. Ricky Hampton and Michael Robinson every Tuesday at 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more information on sports current, past, and present, and actually obviously future. So as you see me speak to you right now, if I didn't know or you didn't know who I was, you wouldn't recognize that. I tell you, I played the sport. I played for a long time. I played high school, I played college, I played pro. I have 13 tattoos. I can speak freely. I can articulate. I can enunciate. I can spell. I can walk and chew bubblegum. For people to continue to vilify these athletes, again, you gotta understand the bigger picture. They are millionaires. They are African American, and they are young. And they are speaking on behalf of people that literally don't have a voice. So they need your support. Like I said, for those of you that want to boycott the NFL, there are 32 owners. Please do not boycott the NFL. There's 1,900 men, white and black, that are actually, again, their rights need to be heard. For those 10 that was going to go to the White House, they still should go to the White House. Once again, sports is not a game. Sports is all business. I hope our guys are educated. I hope I empowered. I hope I protected you. If you like what you heard in this video and it made a difference to you, please like and share. Again, check us out. I'm going to be back again tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to talk about this topic again because, once again, when you talk about the dichotomy of sports and you talk about all these kids going to camps, high school and college, where are those people that supposedly have the kids' best interests in mind? Why aren't they speaking up for these actual kids? At the end of the day, I let you know exactly who they are. I let you exactly know who around you. Surround those who educate and empower, protect your best interests and yours alone. You'll be all right. God bless you guys. Take care.